Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the first wave of Masterverse figures from Mattel. This first wave is all based on the Masters of the Universe Revelation cartoon that just came out on Netflix about a month ago. And as you can see here, the first wave is comprised of 4 figures. We have Mossman, HeMan, Skeletor, and Evil-Lyn. And I just wanted to showcase this artwork. Each package has one side with artwork for the character. And this artwork is so beautiful. I really am impressed with this. I don't like to save packaging if I can help it because I have a finite amount of room, but I'm very tempted to save this packaging because this artwork is really beautiful. There's also artwork on the back we'll take a look at in a minute, but taking a look at each of these figures real quick, we have Mossman, and you can see here it says he is the heroic spy and master of camouflage. And then if we take a look at the back, you have some more really nice artwork there, and you get a little bio for each character. And then it shows you the other figures that are available. So there's Mossman. Next up, of course, we have HeMan, most powerful man in the universe. That's such great artwork. I love that. It really looks good. And then we have Skeletor, evil lord of destruction. Look at that. Come on, that is great. Got Snake Mountain in the background there. And last but certainly not least, we have Evil-Lyn, evil warrior goddess. Fantastic. So I'm excited for these. I'm going to go ahead, get these out of the box, and then we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here are the 4 figures. We'll start, of course, with He-Man here. He looks good. Just something about the facial expression is a little off for me. I don't know what I would necessarily want to change it to. It just... And maybe it fits the animation style. I honestly, it's been about a month since I watched the show. But I don't know, there's something a little off about the face. I don't hate it. It's just not amazing, if that makes sense. But otherwise, I think it's a really great figure. Mattel's done a pretty good job with these. You have movement here at the base of the neck, and then you have a ball joint at the base of the skull, so you can do a little side-to-side movement here, up and down. Very minimal tilt side to side. You have a swivel hinge here in the shoulder, so you can swivel it around and then hinge out to the side. You have a bicep swivel. You have double jointed elbows. If I take the shield off for a moment, you can see that the hand is also on a swivel and hinge. He's got this nice gauntlet here. You can tell it's definitely just yellow painted on top of the brown, but I think it works. And the shield looks great. Nice orange paint there, and you can see it just kind of slides on over the hand and then kind of pops on. And it stays in place really well, which I like a lot, so that's really great. He's got kind of a ball joint here in the torso section, but then he also has a spin at the waist. You can see he's got the belt and the loincloth going on here. Now, the way these hips work, you can kick out front and you can kick back a little bit. You can kick out to the side, but then when you try to bring it back in, you almost have to kind of push it back up as well, just to kind of get it to come in. So just be a little wary about that. I don't think anything's going to break or anything like that. It's just, if you try to bend it in a weird way, I'm afraid you could break it. So you kind of have to like push it back up into the socket almost. But you have a thigh swivel. You have double jointed knees, as you can see there. You have a boot swivel. And then you have a hinge here, and then a rocker in the ankle. So should be able to get some good poses. But yeah, it's a really nice figure. Probably about 7 inches or so tall. And I really like it. I really like He-Man a lot. I love the accessories. It's just that, like I said, that the face sculpt is just a little off. Again, I don't hate it. It's not terrible. I don't know. There's just something about it that's a little off. Now, he does come with some alternate hands. You have a fist, and then you have kind of a general grasping hand here, if you don't want him to have the shield. But yeah, overall, he's pretty great. Next up, we will take a look at Skeletor. Alright, so grabbing Skeletor from back here. He looks good. You can see that the Havoc Staff's kind of rattling around in the hand a little bit, and they gave him this kind of open hand, almost like it has a trigger finger, and it just makes it hard for him to hold the Havoc Staff. I'm not really sure why they did this. He doesn't really have any accessories that would need this style of hand, so I don't know. That's a little weird. But he does also come with this other staff here, which fits pretty well into this hand. And if you want, you could take this one out and put the Havoc Staff in here. It might be a bit of a tight fit, but I think we could get it in there. Yeah, there we go. And then he would hold on to that much more securely. So that would work. But for now, I'm just going to take them both out just so we can take a look at the figure. Now, he's got all the same articulation points that He-Man has. Even has the boot swivel down here, kind of hidden with these leg bracers. I really like the paint down here on his, I guess, foot claws, toenails, whatever you would like to call those. But really, he looks good. The head sculpt, I think, is very menacing. That looks good. His harness here, I think, looks really good. He's got this cape on the back, which is a really nice, thick cloth. Really nice and you know, sturdy. Thick, so it's not going to tear or anything like that. But yeah, ultimately, I really think he looks cool. He comes with an alternate set of hands as well. I need to kind of get him in a better pose here so he doesn't fall over. There we go. So he's got kind of an open hand, and then he's got a closed fist as well. So I will give him back the Havoc Staff. I mean, it fits well into this hand. It's very easy to get in and out. And I'm assuming maybe because of how the staff changes up here, maybe that's why the hand is open like that. I'm really not sure. But the Havoc Staff itself, I think, looks really good. Really nicely detailed. So I really like that. But I just don't understand why that hand is so open like that. It's definitely quite strange. There we go. We'll use that to help him stand up. Next up, we will take a look at Mossman. Mossman is definitely one of my favorites from the wave. He looks fantastic. They've done such a good job with all the molding and detail. The head sculpt, I think, looks fantastic. And this is kind of what I was talking about. See how he's kind of like, not screaming out, but he's got kind of a more aggressive face sculpt. And I wanted something like this for He-Man. I think that's kind of more what I was looking for. But he's definitely got some great detail here. You got the vines and the roots all throughout his body. He's got some leaves growing here on the shoulder. You can see he's got the belt molded in there. And he's got all the same articulation as the others, although he doesn't have a boot swivel. I guess it makes sense. It doesn't really make sense for him to have it. But the other problem is he doesn't have the rocker on the ankle. So the foot can spin above the ankle, and then it has the hinge in the ankle, but it doesn't have the rocker. And unfortunately, because he's already got kind of these strange root feet, it makes him a little difficult to pose and stand correctly. And it's just a bit of a bummer, because like I said, it's a really great looking figure. He looks fantastic. It's just getting him to stand is kind of weird, and you have to make sure you distribute the weight properly, and it's hard to get the feet to lay flat so that he stands. So it's just a bit of a shame, because otherwise it's a pretty amazing figure. Like, I really love everything about him. I think he looks great. The color scheme and everything, all the molded detail, the head sculpt I think looks fantastic. It's just a shame that the feet are a little wonky. I mean, you can make it work. It's just, you know, you have to play with it a little bit. He does come with a really awesome accessory, though. He's got this crazy, like, root tangling, like, you know, it's extending out of his hand, which is really, really cool. So I'm going to go ahead. You just pop off one of these hands and then pop this in. And then it just looks like he's attacking someone with the roots. That's really cool. That's a great accessory. I love that a lot. It's going to make him incredibly top heavy, so posing would be very difficult, but it's a very, very cool accessory. And then he does come with some alternate hands here. So he's got a set of kind of like smaller grasping hands. And then he's got like a wider grasping hand set. So he comes with basically 5 alternate hands, which is pretty cool. But yeah, he's a really great figure. I love the design of him. I think he looks fantastic. Just a little wonky on the feet. But it's not, you know, you can make it work. It's just, I wish they had put the rockers in, because he really kind of needs them. So last but certainly not least, we have Evil-Lyn. She looks good. Face sculpt I think looks really good. I love all the detail on her helmet here. She's got this little satchel here that she had on the show. And you can just easily kind of take that off over the head here. I say easily, and then I have difficulty with it, of course. There we go. I'm just going to take that off for the purposes of showing you everything off. So she's got the same kind of head sculpt, or head articulation as everybody else, but she does have an alternate head. So if we pop that off, you can also see kind of the inner workings of the necks here. But she's got this really cool secondary head. On the show, she takes her helmet off and she's got really long white hair. So this is a really nice looking head. I think it works well. The hair is sculpted well. It fits onto the figure perfectly. Very, very cool. She's got, you know, the basic hinge, rotation, double jointed elbows. She's got the swivel and hinge in the wrist. Torso cut. I would say she has the same articulation as everyone else. She's got the boot swivel. She does have the rocker in the feet. So yeah, I would say she has the same articulation as HeMan and Skeletor, just obviously a thinner build. And then she's got this like lower skirt piece, which I think looks really good. So in addition to the satchel and the two different heads, see if we can put this back on here. You could probably have that on underneath the head, but I think it would be more difficult. She does have two different versions of her staff. She's got this kind of short staff, and then she's got a longer version of the staff. Both look great. They both have this kind of translucent purple crystal here in the center, which looks really cool. I'm going to go ahead and pop this into her hand. I think they have... No, maybe it was in this one? She comes holding it packaged in the box. I think it was in this hand. But yeah, she's really cool. It's a really cool figure. She looks great. The satchel is not cooperating now. There we go. And she does come with some alternate hands. So she's got a closed set of fists. And then she's got like another smaller grasping hand and then another wider hand. So if you wanted to do like the two wider hands, maybe when she's casting a spell, and then you could do the two grasping hands for accessories. So very, very cool. I like her a lot. I really like the alternate head. I mean, the helmeted head looks really good as well, but I really like the long white hair. I just think that looks really, really cool. So yeah, all four of these are really fun. I like them a lot. I mean, they're not perfect. They all have kind of like a small little thing that just kind of throws it off for me. I mean, honestly, Evil-Lyn is probably the most perfect out of all four because I don't really have any issues with her as far as like, you know, Mossman has his feet issue. He-Man has kind of the weird face sculpt. Skeletor has that one weird hand that makes it hard for him to hold the staff. And then Evil-Lyn's just kind of perfect. I don't really have any complaints about her at all. She looks great. Great articulation. Great accessories. No issues. So yeah, she's kind of the winner of the wave. But honestly, all four of these are pretty great. I definitely still recommend picking them up. Although I have kind of a minor issue with a few of them, it still wouldn't prevent me from buying these again. I think they're fantastic. I definitely recommend them. Mattel's done a pretty great job. Now, previously I took a look at Battle Cat and Skelegod because they came out a little bit earlier. These took me a little bit longer to track down. I think I got Mossman and Evil-Lyn from Amazon, and I think I got He-Man and Skeletor from Target, all online. But I have actually seen He-Man and Skeletor in store at Target as well. So if you're in the market for these, you know, just keep looking around. You should find them eventually. I think they're good figures. I really do. I mean, if you're a fan of the new cartoon, I think you're going to want to pick these up. But even if you're just a He-Man fan in general, I think these could kind of just be, you know, new figures for these characters. You know, if you couldn't afford classics back in the day, I think these are kind of a step towards classics. You know, Mattel's trying to do something like that with his Masterverse line. And I know they're doing Revelation right now because that's obviously new and exciting. And there's already, I think, at least one more, maybe even two more waves of figures that we've seen pictures for, and they all look really, really cool. But I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually kind of return to a more classic look in this line, or maybe even do figures based on the Filmation cartoon with those designs or something like that. I think their idea for Masterverse is kind of a catch-all for all the different iterations of He-Man. I would love a movie He-Man in the Masterverse line, because again, that's something else that Classics did, but it was a little too pricey for me at the time, and I didn't really buy anything from that line because I didn't really have the means at the time. But, you know, and this is a much cheaper price point. These are $20 a piece, so definitely reasonable. Nice, big figures, great articulation, great accessories at a pretty reasonable price, pretty much standard for, you know, 6-inch, 7-inch figures in normal retail. So I definitely think if you're looking for something Classics-esque, but at a much cheaper price point, I think this is definitely the way to go. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.